Welcome to the Sam Houston Memorial Museum. Step back in time now to when Texas was young and bold men like Sam Houston were carving out a new civilization on the western frontier. Enjoy your visit.
No man against my fate shall hurl me into Hades, only destiny, which no man has ever escaped.
Sam Houston was born March 2, 1793 in Rockbridge County, Virginia.
I would not be gotten into a schoolhouse until I was 8 years old, nor did I accomplish much after I started. I doubt if I had gone to school 6 months in all when my father died. I was 14 at the time.
Like so many other Americans, Elizabeth Houston and her children followed the wilderness road westward. Seeking to build a new life, they settled near Maryville in eastern Tennessee. Sam's lack of interest in farming was matched only by his equal lack of enthusiasm for storekeeping. At the age of 16, he ran away to live among the Cherokee Indians on Hiwassee Island. Chief Uluteka named Sam Colonne, the Raven, and adopted him as a son.
Certain it is that my early life among the Indians was a necessary portion of that wonderful training that fitted me for my destiny. There I was, initiated into the profound mysteries of the red man's character. This wild life among the Indians lasted until I was 18. During my visits, once or twice a year to my family, I had to be refitted and dressed and purchase many little articles of taste or utility to use among the Indians. In this manner, I had incurred a debt which I was bound by honor to pay.
Sam devised a plan to open a one-room schoolhouse. His knowledge of the 3 R's was little better than elementary, but he could quote passages from Homer's Iliad by heart and, as no other schoolmaster could, regale his students with stories of Cherokee beliefs and customs.
No master had hinted above $6 per annum. I thought that one who graduated at an Indian university ought to hold his lore at a dearer rate, and I raised the price to $8. Dressed in a hunting shirt and a long queue down my back, and a sense of authority over my pupils, I experienced a higher feeling of dignity and self-satisfaction than from any office or honor which I later held.
1812. The United States was again at war with Britain. In the spring of 1813, Sam, barely aged 20, joined the army with his mother's blessing. She would rather all her sons fill one honorable grave than one of them turn his back to save a life. On his finger, she placed a simple gold ring inscribed with the single word honor. He wore this ring until his death. Under General Andrew Jackson, Sam took the field against the Creek Indians at Horseshoe Bend and was severely wounded.
The surgeon said it was unnecessary to torture me, since I would not survive till the next morning. Everybody looked at me as a dying man. What could be done for any, they felt should be done for those who were likely to live. It was the darkest night of my life.
Houston survived that night. His courage had caught Jackson's eye. A lifelong friendship soon developed between the Raven and his mentor, Old Hickory. In 1823, with Jackson's backing, Sam was elected to the United States House of Representatives. After serving 2 terms, in 1827, Houston was elected governor of Tennessee. On January 22, 1829, the popular Governor Houston married Eliza Allen. She was from a prominent Tennessee family and 17 years his junior. Unexpectedly, the couple separated after 3 months. No one has ever known the true reason. Sam remained silent on the subject all of his life.
Unfortunately for the peace of society, there is everywhere a class of impertinent busybodies who make it their special business to superintend and pry into the domestic affairs of their neighbors. This is a painful but a private affair. I do not recognize the right of the public to interfere in it. April 16, 1829, Nashville. It has become my duty to resign the office of Chief Magistrate of this state. I should retire from a position which in the public judgment I might seem to occupy by questionable authority.
At this lowest point in his life, Houston boarded a steamboat bound westward for Arkansas and the Cherokee Nation, once again to live among the children of the Great Spirit. The years between 1829 and 1832 were busy, yet unsettled years for Houston. For a time, he was totally immersed in Cherokee life, refusing to speak English even with white men. He took an Indian wife, Tiana Rogers, and established a trading post at Wigwam, Neosho. In October 1829, Sam Houston was granted full citizenship in the Cherokee Nation. He was their unofficial ambassador to the U.S. by virtue of his close friendship with President Jackson. During this self-imposed exile, Houston was given to excesses with alcohol. The Indians called him the Big Drunk. As early as 1822, Sam had been interested in Texas and westward expansion. With the encouragement of Andrew Jackson and a renewed vision, Houston said farewell to Tiana and this period of his life. He crossed the Red River in December 1832, entering the land of his destiny.
Texas is the finest portion of the globe that has ever blessed my vision. I was a member of the Convention of Texas, and I put my name to the Constitution.
By 1835, Texans were threatening revolt. They sought relief from the tyranny of Mexican dictator Santa Anna. Houston was appointed commander-in-chief of the Texian Army. With the Alamo under siege, the convention met again at Washington on the Brazos.
March 2nd, the day of my birth, Texas declared herself free and independent.
That past January, Houston had ordered a withdrawal from San Antonio, but Colonel Travis had vowed to hold the Alamo at all cost.
I knew the Alamo had fallen. The event confirmed my convictions, for the Alamo had fired its last gun the morning we left Washington. At the very moment I was speaking in the convention, those brave men were meeting their fate. I immediately sent another express to Fannin apprising him of the fall of the Alamo and ordering him to evacuate Goliad. I announced that we would fall back to a more secure position. Colonel Fannin's regiment had all been massacred. When the news of this cold-blooded barbarity flew through the colonies, it stirred up a spirit that would never sleep again.
Struggling with an inexperienced army, Houston remembered a lesson from Old Hickory.
When the enemy has superior strength, extend him. Lead him a chase until he has exhausted himself. Then close suddenly for the decisive blow.
Houston and his army slipped eastward across the Brazos.
April 19th. This morning we are in preparation to meet Santa Anna. It is the only chance of saving Texas. We go to conquer. April 21st, San Jacinto. Victory is certain. Trust in God and fear not. Remember the Alamo. Remember Goliad.
At 4 in the afternoon, General Houston signaled the Texians to attack. The Mexican soldiers, startled from their siesta, desperately tried to organize a defense. As Houston rode the enemy breastworks, a musket ball caught him just above the right ankle, shattering his leg. Overwhelmed by the Texians, the Mexicans fled to the marshes in defeat. The battle had lasted only 18 minutes. The Republic was free. The following day, General Houston was resting from his wound when a prisoner disguised in shabby clothes was brought before him, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Against cries for revenge, Houston spared his life.
Santa Anna, living and secured beyond all danger of escape, may be of incalculable advantage to Texas in her present crisis.
Although weak, Houston was soon back to the business of Texas. In the fall of 1836, Sam Houston became the first elected president of the fragile republic.
This sword, this emblem of my past office, I have worn it with some humble pretensions in the defense of my country. And should the danger of my country again call for my services, I expect to resume it and to respond to the call, if needful, with my blood and my life.
Houston's first term was a busy one, stabilizing the currency, securing borders, and seeking the recognition of foreign countries. After his term in office, the former president entered into a law partnership in Houston City. While on a business trip in Alabama, he was introduced to Margaret Moffett Lee. It was love at first sight for Sam, more than 20 years her senior. Legend has it that Margaret had set her heart on the general 3 years before, when as a schoolgirl in New Orleans, she had seen the hero of San Jacinto arrive for treatment of his battle wound. They were married May 9, 1840. Margaret set about reforming the Texas hero, known for hard living.
Dearest, one portion of your letter gives me more pleasure than any others. It is that you are striving to rise above the dreadful practice of swearing. Dearest husband, my constant prayer is that you may be saved.
You told me to say sometimes to you that I was temperate, so far as abstinence from wine and drink. I am truly so. I have no propensity to taste one drop of anything on earth that could excite or intoxicate me.
In 1842, at the age of 22, Margaret Lee Houston became the First Lady of the Republic of Texas. Sam took the office of president a second time, working, as ever, for annexation. On December 29, 1845, his dream of joining the Union became a reality. The Lone Star became the 28th on the American flag. Houston was chosen as the first senator from the new state. 1847. The Houstons settled in Huntsville, where they built their woodland home. As with most of their residences, Cedar Point, Raven Hill, and Independence, the woodland home was a sanctuary for Margaret and their growing family during the long periods of Sam's absence.
Today is drizzling and damp, and I am depressed and melancholy. I cannot be happy but where you are. The reiteration of my love will only annoy you. I must learn to write something else than love letters.
I cannot believe that my letters will weary you, notwithstanding their frequent recurrence and their want of variety. In my seclusion, I am furnished with very few subjects, except changes in the weather and the care and amusements of home. Sam says I must tell you there is a mockingbird nest in one of the tea rose bushes with 4 eggs in it. I pray you will think the girls are terrible romps, but you must be very charitable towards them, as they inherit their mirthfulness from dear Papa.
In Washington, Senator Houston proved to be a man for the nation, not just Texas. He served as a dominant figure in the Senate for 13 years, often whittling as he listened to the debate. With the courage of his convictions, he often took unpopular stands simply because he knew them to be right.
When I came into the Senate, I had no private views or sectional feelings to gratify. I went into the Senate a national man, and every act of mine from then on was as an American statesman, with the broadest impress of nationality. I will say there are but 2 planks in the platform on which I stand, the Constitution and the Union. By one I am guided, with the other I am willing to perish.
In March 1859, he left the Senate and journeyed home to Texas, never to leave again. Having sold the woodland home, the family divided their time between Cedar Point and Independence, as the old campaigner sought the governorship of Texas. On December 21, 1859, Margaret watched as her husband took the oath of office, becoming the only man in American history to have been governor of 2 states. His term was a turbulent one as the fabric of the Union began to tear apart. Despite Houston's impassioned pleas, on February 23, 1861, Texas citizens voted for secession.
Texas is lost. I love Texas too well to bring civil strife and bloodshed upon her. I am stricken down now because I will not yield those principles which I have fought for and struggled to maintain. The severest pang is that the blow comes in the name of Texas.
Refusing to take the oath of allegiance to the Confederacy, Houston was removed from office.
The soil of our beloved South will drink deep the precious blood of our sons and brethren.
Back in Huntsville, living in the rented steamboat house, Sam came down with a bad cold and developed pneumonia.
In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you.
Texas, Texas. Margaret.
Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, don't call them say don't buy. Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, they call them a say. Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, they call them say da. Hey, they call them a say. Hey, don't call them a say. Hey, they call them say da. Hey, they call them a say. Hey, they call them a say. Hey, they call them a say.